Shalom, Apostle Talk coming back at you with this truth, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem, Hamshad Bashem, Takwadash. And I'm going to entitle this video, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. So I'm going to read it in context. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5. It says, verse 1, then shall the righteous, which are the Israelites, no one else, well, it goes deeper than the Israelites, the elect of Israel, because not all Israel will make it out of Babylon. The focus is on Babylon, the place where the prophets will speak the most is in this place biblically called Babylon. Sometimes it's referred to Assyria. Sometimes it's referred to as Egypt, Sodom. But Babylon is a main label to give to this place. Sometimes it's referred to the land of Edom in Isaiah 34. This is the main place where you're going to speak at, because we don't have to travel around the whole world. The web does that for us. Because these other nations will not be hit by the missiles. The focus is going to be on Babylon the Great. When you read Revelation chapter 18, one of my favorite chapters that I love, it's straight and to the point. And what John on the Isle of Patmos, the apostle, saw was the destruction of Babylon the Great. The book of Revelation, a powerful book that we are experiencing right now, the prophetic parts. Anyway, let me go ahead and read. Then shall the righteous, which are the Israelites, man, which represents Israelites or men, stand in great boldness. It's not going to be one righteous man. There's going to be righteous men. So man represents men. Stand in great boldness. What was it saying? Isaiah 13. Exalt the voice, raise the hand, lift up the banner upon a high mountain. So that you can be noticed among the nobles, the elite. They already know about us. They had this gathering of, well, NASA wasn't a part of it, but NASA is now saying, yep, there's things out there that we can't explain. But they had the Air Force and they had a congressional sit down. As a matter of fact, let me do this instead of me yapping. So you're gonna have to pay for this. You're gonna have to pay for all of this. These are the Israelites that you did this to Israelites. You Edomites did this to Israelites. And my last video was blacked out because of this part of the video. Last, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. They don't want this truth to come out. The future for you Edomites, number one on the list of nations is captivity. He that leadeth in captivity shall go into captivity. Let's say also. U.S. gather for UFO I'll say meeting. Let's see what happens. Okay, you got the pictures there. Okay, it was the Pentagon. Let me go to all. Okay, this was May 17th, U.S. Congress, the whole first public UFO panel in more than 50 years. So we're talking about the last time they got together was in the early 70s. And I believe that was during the time when Reagan said, what if you find out there's a higher power out there more powerful than us from another world? I'm paraphrasing. He said, wouldn't that make us all come together? And that's a one world order. Because when these when the chariots come, they're not going to know how to deal with it. All they know is what all the military part of this government knows how to do is attack it with whatever force that they have. But the Lord is playing with Esau. He's taunting Esau. U.S. Congress to hold first public UFO panel in more than 50 years, May 17, 2022, year of Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai turning up. Two top United States military officials were set to testify in the first public congressional hearing on unidentified flying objects. NASA is assembling a team to gather data, which is Greek for information, on unidentifiable events in the sky. Because every time they turn around, remember they have their eyes on the sky 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Every day, all night, especially in the night. And they were forced to have this meeting after 50 years because they figured 50 years ago in the 70s, this thing would go away. Let's act like we don't see it and maybe it'll go away. It doesn't go away. You see more and more. There's no way you can call a person, oh, you're a crazy person, because everybody in mama has a smartphone, which has a camera in it, and they see something, they take a picture of it or they video it. So this is a sign. You're looking for a sign. Those are the signs up in the heavens. Jeremiah 10. Be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. It says U.S. Congress to hold first public UFO panel in more than 50 years. The New York Times. These are credible papers here. News organizations. Al Jazeera was one. CNN. The New York Times. Congress holds first UFO hearing in half a century. This time, other U.S. U.S. Navy assets also observed unmanned aerial systems. The hearing was followed by a classified session. In other words, a secret session. They ain't gonna let the public know what they're talking about. This is space.com. Congress holding UFO hearing today. How to watch live. This was as of January 8th. Disclosure of deception. New UFO Pentagon office divides believers. Washington's UFO lobbyist sees progress in first public. That's at that meeting. It says Washington UFO lobbyist sees progress in the first public hearing in is more than 50 years, 54 years, almost 55 years. The meeting granted anonymity to describe the gathering. Okay, this is from the Department of Defense. Pentagon Press Secretary John F. Kirby holds a press briefing. That's what a free press. I ain't gonna say anything about UFOs or UAPs. Seeing the Earth through alien eyes, an extraterrestrial view of, it says alien spying. When Moses was set up to take Canaan, what did they do? They set up spies. Each tribe outside of Levi had a spy. You know the story about Joshua and Caleb. It said aliens spying on us, which are the angels, from across interstellar space is a classic. Another astronomer keen to collect new perspectives on our planet. You can click and read the rest of the story. UFO sightings. Canada's defense minister briefed. Canadian defense minister was briefed on UFOs ahead of US intel report or documents obtained through access to information UFO files. This is the Associated Press. The Associated Press, there's one called Associated Press, and I think the other one is UPI, United Press International. Now, I did a video years ago on Bob Law. Look up Bob Law. We've been doing radio for years. And they had a ticker tape machine. And what you would do is they would get the news, and it would come from either the AP, Associated Press, or the United Press International. So that's why when you watch the different news, they give the same story because they get it from that ticker tape. So they would go to the ticker tape, and then they would read off what happened. If there was a mass shooting, you know, it comes through AP and UPI, United Press International. So I remember seeing the particular device that they use. They said NASA hasn't hired. Now I might want to read into this one. NASA hasn't hired theologians to study reaction to alien life. You know what? Let me click on that. Because you know what they're saying? Why would you get theologians to talk about aliens? Because they know they're not aliens. They know that they're angels. And they know that we're the Israelites. I'm not going to read too much of it. It says NASA hasn't hired theologians to study reaction to alien life. Claim NASA just hired NASA just hired 24 theologians. Theologians meaning people that studiers of God. Theo meaning God, ology meaning study of, and the IANS are the people that study God. So you can understand. So it says claim, NASA just hired 24 theologians they didn't hire us. And if they do, we're gonna charge them. We're gonna charge them. They got the money, so we're gonna get paid. And they already know we have the answers. It says to assess how the world will react if we discovered alien life. And they know that they're the angels. AP assessment of false. NASA has not hired any theologians to study the potential reaction humans would have to the discovery of alien life. NASA provides some, but they're thinking about it, some funding in 2015 to the Center of Theological Inquiry in Princeton, New Jersey, for a program to study the potential social impact of finding life beyond Earth. And what they're going to find out, those ships, those aliens, those UAPs, those UFOs are in fact the angels. The NASA funded portion of the program ended in 2017. An agency spokesman told the Associated Press, it says the facts, some social media users are sharing the claim that NASA recently hired 24 theologians to research how people might respond to the discovery. They should just hire us. We'll give you all the information. We'll tell you what's going down, but you gotta pay us dearly. It's going to cost a lot. They know we have the answers. That's why there's so much tension on the Israelites. They want to demonize us because it's always in the back of their mind, Esau's mind. They're saying, well, what if this is all true? What if what these Israelites are saying, what if this all comes to pass? They're thinking like that. You're always thinking like that. I said how people might respond to the discovery of extraterrestrial life. Was that teasing that the actions could be foreshadowing chaos in the year to come. Let me read a little bit more. One tweet that was shared nearly 25,000 times made the joke that the so-called NASA hires were planting the seed for the main storyline of 2022, while the agency's astrobiology, which is a study of the stars, astro program, did grant money to the Center of Theological Inquiry. Got to read on that. Frequently referred to CTI, to assess societal implications of NASA's astrobiological and bio meaning the body, meaning bodies from the stars, aliens, the study of aliens from other worlds. That's what that word really means. And search for life efforts. NASA was not involved in the selection of researchers, according to an agency spokesman. The fellows work independently through the Center and were not considered NASA employees. Okay, so this is Center of Theological Inquiry. Okay, Center of Theological Inquiry, and they know about us. It says the research center where theology makes an impact on global concerns. The science of belief, creation, otherwise Black religion, and climate catastrophe. Let me okay, give you nothing here. Click on videos. Anyway, come back. So, you know, Esau knows, and they have an idea that these are not actually aliens, that they're angels. They don't want to use that word, because if they admit to the fact that they're angels, then guess what? There has to be a Most High. And what does the Most High look like? And we all know through the scripture, then you got to believe in the scriptures or the Quran or whatever. So let me do this. Let me go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 1. And put in chapter 1. Chapter 1. Let me hit images. This is how they describe the images. Wheels within wheels. The first vision of Ezekiel. And that's, they're not showing the face, whether he's black or white, but they're saying they saw a being sit up on a chair, and these beings they couldn't explain. Esau checks out everything, man. So they got all the intel on the Israelites. Okay, you know what? Let me do this. Let me do it this way. Is Ezekiel chapter 1 a UFO? Let's see what comes up. Let me click on this. It says the spaceship of Ezekiel. The spaceship of Ezekiel was Earth once visited from outer space. Did alien beings walk our planet? A major NASA engineer reveals some astonishing facts. And this looks like the ship in Revelation 10. So Esau knows. Does the Bible refer to UFOs? And this is from the Christian Courier. Let's click on that. I'll read this line right here. Could you explain the reference in the book of Ezekiel chapter 1 about the will within the will? Some say that this is an allusion to ancient visitors to the earth in flying saucers. So we're not the only ones that teach this. Okay, it said in recent times, a few radical sensationalists have contended that centuries ago, Earth was visited by space beings from distant planets. It has been alleged that evidence for such a notion is to be found not only in the archaeological records of monuments of antiquity, meaning they dug up, paintings and so forth of actual UFOs, evidence of UFOs. It says, but the Bible also contains allusions to such. For instance, in the book Chariots of the Gods, which by the way is an actual movie. Let me do this. Let me do this. Chariots of the Gods. Okay, this movie came out in it was either 69 or 7, I believe it was 70. Maybe, yeah, Chariots of the Gods, 1970. And when you watch this movie, it goes into they speak about the ark that these students, followed the description of how to put the ark together. They put it together, and strange things started happening. They had to take it back apart. But in this movie, they speak on Ezekiel's will within the will, and they say, could that be a UFO? So Esau knows. Esau knows. Let me just show you this real quick. Okay, this is a brother, GMS Word of Life. He puts up a lot of videos on UFO sightings. Every day. He puts them up every day. Sometimes more than once. So anyway, I want you to watch this. It says strange moments were caught from a commercial airline over the skies of the Philippines. So watch this closely. You don't got to listen to nothing. You can't, let me bring this back. Esau doesn't have the technology to fly and stop on a dime and completely change directions. When you go to Ezekiel's first chapter, matter of fact, let me let you watch this again, and I'm gonna go to Ezekiel, the first chapter. Here's another one. Okay, there's one he put up where the ship would disappear, but these are all his videos, so I subscribe to him. The spirits on him to put up videos on so-called UFOs. And it can't be denied. That's why they had that meeting. Let me see. I was going to do a video on this. If you go to Gay Pride NYC 2022, you're going to be pissed off. Okay, let me come back. Let me do this. Yeah, this is a waste of time. Captain Zariak arguing with Christians. Leave those damn Christians alone. Where was I? Okay, it says a will within a will, a will within a will, a will within a will. Now this right here, when I see this picture right here, the spaceships of Ezekiel. And this is written by a NASA engineer. So he's telling you that the spaceships that you see up there are the same ones, because there were 4 of them in Ezekiel's will, the spaceships of Ezekiel. But this image right here brings to mind Revelation 10. Let's go to that real quick. We already know the precepts. Like I said, right here, I got about 20 precepts written down. Oh, it says Job. Oh, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. Okay, it says in Isaiah 28, verse 21, for Yahweh shall rise up as in Mount Perazim, he shall be wroth as the valley of Gibeon, that he may do his work, his strange work, and bring to pass his act, his strange act. What is that strange act and that strange work? When the Lord comes back. Wisdom of Solomon 5, we're going to read the key point is in the second verse. We're going to read the three chapters. I mean, the three verses. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness, and that's us. That's the fulfillment of Ezekiel 37 before the face of such as have afflicted him. We've been afflicted. We've been oppressed. What are we going to do to the ones that afflict us? We're going to afflict them. They're going to receive double. What are we going to do to the ones that oppressed us pursuant to Isaiah, the 14th chapter? We're going to oppress them. They're going to be slaves, slave men and slave women. Scripture says in Isaiah 49, we're going to suck the breast of the Gentiles. Let me get that. Isaiah 49. Do this. Let me try it this way. I'm sorry, maybe it's not in this. Let me do it this way. Let me do it this way. That's in it has to be Isaiah 60. This is in Isaiah 49. Where should I start? The key point is in the 23rd verse. Then I'm going to go to Isaiah 60. I'll start at 22. Isaiah 49, verse 22. Thus saith Yahweh. Now you see here the Lord. It says Jehovah, right? There's no J in the Hebrew. There should be a yod there. And there's no V in the Hebrew. It should be a wa. So the word there should be Yahweh or Yahweh. So they know the true name of the Most High. It says, lo, I lift up unto nations my hand. And unto peoples I raise up mine ensign. And they have brought thy sons in the bosom, and thy daughters on the shoulder are carried. And that's a vision of the kingdom. We're going to be carried around by these other nations. We're going to be magnified. It says in Isaiah 61, we're going to boast ourselves. It says in kings, these of the other nations have been thy nursing fathers, and their princes thy nursing mothers, face to the earth. And you know what? This is why it sounds funny, because it's a different translation. Let me go to King James. I don't know why that happened. Let me come down to '22 again. '22 and the King James Version. Thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will lift up mine hand to the Gentiles and set up my standard to the people, and they shall bring thy sons, Israel's sons and daughters, in their arms, and thy daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders. And kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee, the Israelites, with their face. This is getting ready to happen. with their faces toward the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. Who's not going to be ashamed? The elect. Shall the prey be taken from the mighty, or the lawful captive delivered? We're going to be delivered. Let me read the rest of it, 25 and 26. So we're almost out of here. And if you're looking for signs, all you got to do is look up. And Esau knows, the Edomites, the elite, they know exactly what's up in the heavens. And they know they can't deal with them. You saw the video a couple of minutes ago where you had that orb, that ship, that chariot would move and then stop on a dime and then move in other directions. That's also in Ezekiel chapter 1. And so when they turned directions, they didn't have to turn like you turn a car. You know, they would go one way, then they would just go to the right or to the left or up or down. And they can disappear, they can reappear. So they're going that. Hey, that's why it says in Revelation 12, there was no place found in heaven, because they're going to be wiped out. At the end of the day, when everything's said and done, it's all about Jacob and Esau. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So this man is definitely going out. He's crumbling. It says, thus saith Yahweh, even the captives of the mighty shall be taken away, and the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. For I will contend with him that contendeth with thee. The thee are the Israelites, right? Contend means to fight. Moses said, I'm going to fight with them that have fought against you. I will bless them that bless you and curse them that curse you. And I will save thy children, which are the Israelites. And this is getting ready to happen. And I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh, and they shall be drunken with their own blood. This is poetic, but they're gonna actually eat their own flesh. It's gonna get so bad. It tells you that in the Apocrypha, in the second Ezra, the 15th chapter, around about the 50th verse. It said they're gonna eat their own flesh and drink their own blood for very thirst. It says in Isaiah 65, we're gonna eat. The servants of the Most High is gonna eat. So 26, Isaiah 49, verse 26, and I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh. That's cannibalism. And they shall be drunken with their own blood, as with sweet wine. They're going to be so desperate that they're going to eat their family members that have died, or kill them and then eat them. It says, and all flesh shall know that I, Yahweh, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer. He's going to buy us back. The mighty one of Jacob. Jacob is another word for Israel. Let me go to that real quick. You know what? Let me finish reading this. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness, Ezekiel 37 being fulfilled right now, before the face of such, the Edomites, number one on the list, such as have afflicted him and made no account of their labors. Now that goes into, you got Jake looking into reparation. The true reparation is when we take take what they have and take them. We don't want no check. We want them and what they have. It says, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. Because these chariots are going to invade your world. And they repented and groaning for anguish of spirit. Matthew 24 says, weeping and gnashing of teeth shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision, and a proverb of reproach. So now when you look up that word reproach, the word reproach means address someone in such a way as to express disapproval or disappointment. You know, they bring us, the Most High put curses on us, and Esau will say, why can't you pull yourself up with your own bootstraps? Because we don't got no bootstraps. The Most High curses, we're under curse. Cursed shall you be in the city, and cursed shall you be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket in thy store. But now the Most High is putting a spirit on us. He's taking those curses on us, and he's beginning to bless us. You know, that's why you got a lot of Jakes out there that are doctors, lawyers. You got Jake all up in the military. You have debaters among Jake. You have actors. You have athletes. You have billionaires and millionaires and multi-millionaires among Jake. So you can't just say, okay, we're going to put you back in slavery, like this nigga said on the Clay Gaines show last week. He said, we got to go vote. If we don't vote, they're going to put us back into slavery. Now, you ain't putting Jake back into slavery. Jake got a whole different mentality, man. And plus, when you go back to the history of slavery, there was a lot of slave revolts. And there was one slave revolt in particular, which we spoke about this past Saturday on the highways and the byways. I forget the guy's name, Lango, something like that, Langa. And he was brought into slavery in the early 1500s, and he gathered Jake men together. These were all Israelites, and took Esau down and went into the woods and became farmers, man. And Esau, after 40 years, when this guy got old, Esau made a treaty with them and said, look, we don't want to put you in slavery. We just want to make a treaty, because Jake would always, when they need something, they would go attack the Edomites and take what they got, kill a couple of them, and go back into the woods. And Esau wouldn't go into the woods because that what they were expert in is guerrilla warfare. You know, you could take 1,000 men in there and have, you know, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 men that use a tactic called guerrilla warfare and take out all of those men. That's what the Picts were doing. The Germanic tribes were doing to the Roman, what do you call that? The legions. There were certain legions that went up into the woods and never came back, and you couldn't find none of them. No dead bodies and nothing like that. No clue. So you can't, you know, Jake has a different mindset today. And Jake, we know that we're physically stronger. When we get into sports, we excel in those sports. We push Esau out the way. When you watch the NBA championships, who are the top players? They're all Jake. Well, you got some white ones, but those so-called white ones, a lot of them are from Europe, some of them from the States, but they're actually Jakes, man. That's high level ball. So where we at? I'm a little all over the place. Oh, this is what I wanted to do. I said I wanted to go to Isaiah. Well, we don't need to go to Isaiah 60. It should be. All right, let's go to Isaiah 60 real quick. This is a future prophecy. A glorified Zion. This is the kingdom. Let me try something here. Isaiah 60, verse 16, thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles and shall suck the breasts of kings. Take their substance. That's poetic for take their substance. And thou shalt know that I, Yahweh, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer. There it goes again, Redeemer, the mighty one of Yahweh. Let me look up the word Redeemer. Redeemer. Ga'al. I want to see if it's written. Bear me for a minute. Okay, it's not written in Deuteronomy 28. There's a different word there, but it means the same thing. It means a redeemer, to buy back. No man shall buy you, meaning no man shall redeem you, buy you back. But ultimately, we're going to be redeemed by our Lord. Verse, the sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. What does that mean? Slavery. And all they that despise thee, the Esau had a perpetual hatred for us, right? Ezekiel was at 35, shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of Yahweh, the Zion, the monument of the Holy One of Israel. So Esau's future and the other nations' future, their future is slavery. Let's move over to 61. Second verse. You can start the first verse. You know what? Well, this is what when our Lord opened up the scrolls, and this is what he read from. It says to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahweh and the day of vengeance of our power, to comfort all that mourn. So we're looking for the Most High to come and avenge us of our. We're still in captivity. We're still yoked up with paperwork. To comfort all that mourn. What's the comfort? The kingdom. We're mourning. You're supposed to be mourning. Starts with the elect. To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, and Zion is a people before it's a place, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, depression, that they might, and most of your diseases come from depression, man. Be called trees of righteousness, the planting of Yahweh, that he might be glorified. That's the glorified as a kingdom, Romans 9. The adoption and the glory and the giving of the laws and the covenants, of whom as concerning the Messiah, as whom as concerning the Messiah came. And they shall build the old waste cities. They shall raise up, because the land of Palestine is going to be destroyed too by missiles, but it's going to be built back up. They shall rise up the former desolation or desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities. The desolations and the waste cities are going to come from those missiles. You know, parts of Europe will be destroyed. Parts of Russia, I see being partially destroyed. Certain areas will be destroyed. There'll be certain neutral countries. They say Australia is a neutral country, but we're going to take the whole world and we're going to rebuild it back. It says, repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. It says, and strangers, which are the other nations, shall stand and feed thy flock. They're going to be working out there, feeding your flock, literally. And the sons of aliens, the other nations, shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. It says in, what is that? Amos 9, it says, the plowman shall overtake the reaper. Plowman means a slave. The reaper represents one that reaps the benefits. So they're going to be the plowmen. It says, but ye shall be named priests of the Lord, Yahweh. Men shall call you the ministers of the Most High, because we're going to administer to them the law. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles. That's true reparations. And in their glory shall ye what? Boast yourselves. For your shame ye shall have double, and for your confusion, and that word confusion goes back to the word shame or shamefaced, they shall rejoice. That's the kingdom and their portion. Therefore, in their land, because we're going to go back to the land, they shall possess the double, everlasting joy shall be unto them. So the kingdom is here. And like I said, in order for a kingdom to come in, this current kingdom has to be taken down. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And let me come back over here. Okay. This, like I said, I see this picture, and what comes to mind is Revelation 10. So we'll close on that. Revelation 10. In the same chapter, it also speaks about reincarnation. The angel in the little book, which represents the scripture, the Bible. And I saw another mighty angel come, and what he saw was a gigantic ship with a or more than one angel in it, come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, meaning the ship's head, and his face, as it were, the sun. There was a light, a lamp, if you will. And they showed you that in the video. Let me see something. Let me come back to that. Let me come back to that. Give me for a minute.
If you are over 40 and struggling to lose weight,
okay, this is not it. This is not what I want. Bear with me for a minute. I got to find them again. Let me do it this way. I got to watch this one. Okay, next new moon coming up. Okay, let me find this video. Okay, here it is, right here. So what did John say? He saw that. Let's go back to that. It says, and I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud. Was not that ship amongst the cloud? It came out from the clouds, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. So let's go back to this. See, those are the landing parts. And he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea, and because he was on the island of Patmos, and his left foot on the earth. So that was a big, good sized ship. And he cried with a loud voice as when a lion roareth. And when he had cried, seven thunders uttered their voices. And when the seven thunders uttered their voices, I was about to write. Now, as you go on to read, it says, do not write. So we don't know what happened. These were revelations that John received, that he heard, but he wasn't allowed to write it down. I remember High Priest Yeshaya said, well, that's talking about the Byzantine Empire. Where's the proof on that? That's why you don't see Yeshaya no more, because he wasn't a real man of the Lord. Good teacher, but he wasn't one of the elect. Because what does it say in Isaiah 30? You shall see your teachers. And he was told to eat the book, and he said, you shall prophesy again. And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. So when did that happen? You know what I'm gonna do? See what these so-called Bible experts got to say. Let's go to Bible commentary. Let's see what they say. They're the experts. I'm looking for Cambridge. Okay, it says Cambridge Bible for Schools and Colleges. I go to this one because it's always normally the shortest. It says, thou must prophesy again. Some try to make it out that there is here a new commission given to the apostle, which is John, and that in the remainder of the book, there are higher mysteries than in the foregoing part. But it is surely simpler to take it as a personal warning to the apostle himself. He was to see the end of all things in visions, right? What John saw 2,000 years ago is what we're experiencing right now. So the rest of the book of Revelation is going to be fulfilled in this time. Could be 6 months from now, could be, I'm talking about the destruction when the Lord comes, when we're delivered out of here, when the charagma is set up for the masses of the people around the world so they can live in their smart cities and pay digitally. Everything's going to be digital, except but his own earthly work and duties were not at an end. So they're saying, look, your job is not at an end. You're going to prophesy again. So where's the record of him prophesying again? There's no record of it. So what is that talking about? That's talking about reincarnation, that he's going to come back. Daniel 12 speaks about Daniel coming back in his lot, right? That's reincarnation. He had already prophesied before many people and nations and tongues and kings, whether Nero or Domitian was the last of these. No, that was before. During Nero, and you had Nero, you had the year of the 4 emperors. Read that. Go to Google and read about that. That's Galba, Otho, Galba, Vitellius, and Vespasian, all the way up to Domitian, which is the second youngest son, the youngest son of Vespasian, was the last of these. Nope, because he was put on the owl. So the Lord was saying, okay, you're gonna prophesy again. Where's the record of that? Esau, and he wouldn't have to do the same again. So when is he going to do it? Because there's no record on him prophesying again. Because they don't believe in reincarnation. Now, when you go to Matthew, let's do this, and I'm gonna close it. Matthew 11, I believe. Matthew 11. Matthew 11. I should have did it this way. Let me come back. Matthew 11. Let me do this. Do it this way. Okay, Matthew 11, verse 14. And if ye receive it, this is Elias, which is forth to come. Let me go to the quick translation here. The present unhappy circumstance in which John was placed seemed inconsistent with such a view of this mission. They don't say nothing. They don't know what to say. But it says, it suggests, let me do this. Okay, here applies the name Elias to John, not literally, but analogically, as Elias was in the Old Testament, so John, in preparing for the coming. No. That don't mean that. Which was okay. This is Elijah's. Okay, Malachi 4 had accepted the Tishbite, the immediate it was the teachers of the scribe. It is the tradition, Judaism down time, a vacant chair in place of Elijah at the great solemnities. Even Christian interpreters have cherished the belief that Elijah will appear in person before the second advent of the Lord. So they're saying it, but they don't want to say reincarnation. So if Elijah's going to come before the Lord, that means he got to come in the body. So whose body is he going to come in? In the body of John. The true meaning of the words of Malachi had, however, been suggested in the words of the angel, Luke 1:17, he shall go before him in the spirit and power of Elijah. The spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets. So Elijah came back in the form of a man called John the Baptist, and is here distinctly confirmed the words, if ye will receive it, imply the consciousness that our Lord was setting aside a popular and strongly fixed belief. If you are willing and able to receive the truth that John was in very deed doing the work of Elijah, and need look for no other in the future. No, he was Elijah. And he came back in Alba Bivens. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom.